Okay, let's unpack what might be one of the most important, uh, most consequential meetings in all of history, the Council of Nicaea.
Yeah.
If you want to understand how Christianity really became the force it is today, you really have to start right here. This was a huge meeting called to settle a massive religious argument.
And there's an argument that was tearing an empire apart. We're in the year 325 AD. The place is Nicaea, which is in modern-day Turkey.
Right.
And Christianity is just exploding in popularity. It's growing so fast across the Roman Empire. But the problem is it's not growing in a very, orderly way.
Different people believe different things.
On fundamentally different things. And that internal fighting was becoming a real threat.
And the person who steps in to solve this religious crisis isn't a priest, not a bishop, but a political leader.
Exactly. Emperor Constantine the Great. He had just become the sole ruler of the entire Roman Empire, and his number one priority was stability.
So he wasn't like a theologian himself.
Not at all. He wasn't that concerned with the fine print of the theology, but he was absolutely terrified that Christians fighting with other Christians would cause, riots and political chaos.
He looked at this whole religious disagreement and thought, this is just bad for business. He needed everyone on the same page.
And his involvement was, well, it was totally new. It's a secular leader, right?
Yeah.
He's the government.
Yeah.
Yet he's the one who calls the meeting. He pays for hundreds of bishops to travel using the imperial postal service from as far away as Spain and North Africa.
Wow. And you have to remember, for these bishops, this must have been just mind-blowing.
Oh, completely. Just a few years earlier, the Roman government was actively trying to kill them. Now, that same government is paying for their travel and putting them up in a palace.
That's a massive shift. So he's not just, booking the conference room. He's involved.
He is deeply involved. He gives the opening speech, encouraging everyone to find harmony. He sits in on the discussions. He's a mediator.
Did he vote?
It's believed he didn't vote on the specific wording, but his presence sent a clear message. Whatever you decide here, it's going to be enforced across the empire.
So this is the moment the church and the state really become linked.
This is the moment. It transformed the church from just a collection of communities into a powerful institution with the state's backing.
Okay, so the stage is set, emperor's watching, bishops are all there. What was the fight actually about?
The whole thing, the entire controversy, came down to one question. What is the nature of Jesus Christ?
And the person who really kicked this all off was a priest from Alexandria.
A very charismatic and very smart priest named Arius.
So what was his big idea? What was so controversial?
Arius taught something that to a lot of people sounded pretty logical. He said God the Father existed before God the Son.
Okay.
His famous line was, there was a time when the Son was not. So in his view, Jesus must have been a created being.
So
It's not eternal. Created by the Father. The first and most perfect creation, sure, but still created. This meant Jesus wasn't equal to God the Father. He was secondary.
I can see why that would catch on. It's a simple idea. Father first, Son second. But why was that so dangerous to the traditional church?
Because it completely changes the idea of salvation. If Jesus is just a created being, even a perfect one, he's not fully divine.
Right.
And the other side, led by figures like Athanasius, argued that if Christ isn't fully God, how could he possibly save humanity from sin? How could a created being bridge that infinite gap between people and God?
So the whole thing hinged on whether Jesus was created or eternal.
It was everything. That's why they had to write it down to create a final, definitive statement. And that gives us the Nicene Creed.
Which is maybe one of the most important documents to come out of this meeting.
Absolutely. The Creed was written specifically to shut down Arius' teachings. It states that Christ is God from God, light from light, true God from true God.
And then comes the key phrase.
Begotten, not made.
Begotten, not made. That phrase is doing a lot of heavy lifting there.
It's the whole ball game. It means his nature comes from the Father eternally. Not that he was manufactured at some point in time, but the real knockout punch was one specific Greek word they chose.
Okay, what was it?
The word was homoousios.
Homoousios.
It means of the same substance or of the same essence as the Father. By saying Jesus was homoousios with the Father, they were making it absolutely clear. He is fully 100% divine and equal to the Father.
And that directly contradicted Arius.
It was a theological knife designed to cut his argument out completely. He believed Jesus was of a similar substance.
Wait. Similar substance. That sounds really close.
It sounds incredibly close, but it's a world apart. The Greek word for similar substance is homoousios.
Let me get this straight. The difference is a single letter. And a
Single iota. One tiny Greek letter. The entire future of Western Christianity arguably hung on the inclusion or exclusion of that one letter I.
That is just
What?
astonishing.
It is. And they chose homoousios, same substance, because there was no way to misinterpret it. It was a lock.
And did it work? Did the bishops sign on?
Almost all of them did. It became the official standard belief of the church, a standard that, for many churches, still stands today, almost 1,700 years later.
So they solved the biggest theological question, but the council wasn't just about beliefs, right? It was also about organization.
Absolutely. They needed rules for how the church would actually run. They set up a clear structure, a hierarchy.
How did they do that?
They decided that the bishops in major cities, specifically Rome, Alexandria, and Antioch, would have more authority over their surrounding regions. It was sort of like setting up regional headquarters.
Makes sense. But they also got into the nitty-gritty of how priests and bishops should behave.
Oh, yeah. They passed 20 new laws, which are called canons. And these canons tell you a lot about the problems they were facing.
Like what? What were some of these rules?
Well, for one, they banned clergy from moving from city to city just to get a better job, like a bigger church or a wealthier congregation.
So no clerical hopping to climb the career ladder.
Exactly. They wanted leaders to be committed to their community, not just seeking prestige.
And there was another one about money.
Yes, they forbade clergy from lending money at high interest rates for profit. It's called usury.
Why was that a big deal?
It undermined their moral authority. You can't be a spiritual leader, preaching about charity while also exploiting people financially.
Okay, that makes sense. But there's one other thing they standardized that feels huge. The calendar.
Yes. This was a practical problem that caused a lot of confusion. Before Nicaea, different churches celebrated Easter on different days.
So the biggest Christian holiday could be a month apart, depending on where you lived.
It was a mess. The council fixed it. They created a single, unified system for calculating the date of Easter for everyone, everywhere. It's the first Sunday after the first full moon following the spring equinox.
That one practical decision probably did as much for unity as anything else. Everyone was literally on the same page of the calendar.
It was a very visible symbol that the church was now one single entity, operating under one set of rules.
So let's go back to the man who started all of this. What happened to Arius after the Nicene Creed was signed?
Well, he refused to sign it. It was a total rejection of everything he taught. So he was immediately declared a heretic, which just means someone whose beliefs go against the official doctrine. And the consequences were severe.
What did they do?
Constantine exiled him. And even more than that, the council ordered that all of his writings be collected and burned.
Wow. They weren't just disagreeing with him, they were trying to erase his ideas completely.
They wanted total conformity.
Yeah.
This showed the new reality. Disagree with the church's doctrine, and you are now disagreeing with the emperor himself. It was a political crime.
So if we just zoom out and look at the legacy,
Yeah.
What's the big picture takeaway from this meeting?
Nicaea did two huge things. First, it created the blueprint for how the church would solve problems. Hold a big universal meeting and vote. And second, it created the stable, unified doctrine that allowed Christianity to survive for the next 2 millennia.
It's really the moment the faith transforms from a movement into an institution.
A global institution. And, crucially, one that was now formally tied to political power. The decisions made in 325 AD didn't just unify a religion. They forever linked the altar to the throne.
It's a foundational chapter in how our modern world was built.
It really is. And it leaves you with that one thought. What if they had chosen differently? What if they'd included that one little I and decided Jesus was only of a similar substance? How different would history be?
Good luck with your studies.